I'm Andy, and today we're taking two things and mashing them together. I'm turning Disney characters into Dark Souls bosses. So basically I'm going to be given a couple of characters the aesthetics of a boss from a Souls game, or at least attempt to. Not combining a Disney princess with a known Dark Souls boss, but you know, that could be a fun idea for the future. I might make a note of that. The only Souls game I've played is Elden Ring, but I have seen a playthrough of the first Dark Souls, so finding the vibe shouldn't be too difficult. I will be making up some of the lore for the characters as well, just to try and make them fit a little bit more into the Souls world, vibe, place. I'm gonna give them some story behind it, because it's fun. Without further ado, let's get into this. The first character I decided to draw was Bruno from Encanto. I really just wanted to do something with the lyrics 6-foot frame with rats along his back, so my first thought with him was him hunched over with some rats along his back. Although I'm pretty sure there is a shot of him doing the exact same thing during that song I quoted. So I added some rat at his feet. Some rats, I should say, not just one, there's multiple. I did put one on his back though, for fun. I figured some time would pass after he became a Souls boss, so I gave him a beard and tattered his clothes and made him look skinny. He already was skinny from, you know, living in the walls of his own house, but you get the point. I wanted him to be wearing the same clothes as the original character design, just to give him a bit more of a Bruno kind of feel. I did cover his eyes with bandages, as if he's trying not to see the future, or something along those lines. Honestly, I just love the look of Eris from Destiny with her 3-bandaged hive eyes. I figured this wasn't enough for a boss fight. Bruno has no weapons, so I figured he would attack using his rat swarm, but I wanted something more. So I figured he'd be one of those boss fights that have multiple bosses. I added a giant rat in the background, and then I eventually darkened the piece so that way that overall it was in fact darker. What a surprise. And so that way that the rat in the background wasn't super visible. I did that by adding, I'm pretty sure, a color burn layer as opposed to a multiplier layer, and increased the transparency and went over it with like a very dark gray, pretty close to black. I did want something to pop, so I decided to add glowing eyes effect to Bruno and his rats. Lore-wise, I figure Bruno would have gone mad trying to prevent whatever bad thing happened to the Disney multiverse to make it into a Souls world. Basically, constantly looking into the future, resisting and failing every time, and occasionally making it even worse. Eventually he gave up and covered his eyes, more to symbolize him giving up his future sight power. Eventually he would become corrupted and gain the ability to control rats. I figured his boss name would be something along the lines of Bruno the Mad Prophet. I don't know if there's another boss titled the Mad Prophet. It wouldn't surprise me if there is, and if there is, I didn't steal the name. I'm just don't know all the boss names. Anyways, that's the story of Bruno the Mad Prophet. And he's a smelly rat boy. Yeah, he probably doesn't bathe. Next up, I wanted to draw Moana from the movie Moana. I started with a basic standing pose. All I knew going into this drawing was that I wanted her to have some water rising up as a wave behind her. After that, I had to think about how I wanted to redesign her. I started by looking at Polynesian armor, and I could only find something called the Kiribati armor, which is armor made from coconut fibers and human hair. The human hair part's usually used for decoration, but still, human hair. Interesting. The region it was found in was the Gilbert, Phoenix, and Line Islands, which are located to the northeast of Australia. A fun tangent, but I decided not to use it. Instead, I gave Moana a tentacle arm that she could use to grab and throw the player. I was originally going to have her with human legs, but I wanted to do something a little more shellfish. I decided that her lower half was going to be crab legs and a crab body. I left the spot for the eyes hollow and didn't add the pincers. I was struggling enough to try and draw crab legs, although in hindsight I should have added some pincers and perhaps the eyes as well, but have them be on the back end of the crab. Oh well, maybe next time. For her outfit, I replaced her colorful skirt and chest strap? I don't know what else to call it. I guess let me know if you know. I replaced it with seaweed and gave her a mask, mainly because the humanoid Souls bosses tend to not have their faces fully revealed. Though you could say she isn't humanoid. And I also might be confusing that fact with Digimon when they're in humanoid forms. If I'm wrong, the internet will let me know. Or maybe future me will decide to look it up. Who knows? I also made another version of her necklace, a little more simplified one because I'm lazy and didn't want to draw a super detailed necklace. And the weapon that I gave her was a trident because that's ocean themed. More around Poseidon and ancient Greece rather than Polynesia. Oh well, I missed the ball on that one. Maybe I could have found something a little more accurate to her character setting, but that's fine. We'll stick with this one, with the trident. I think it looks pretty cool. I was thinking Moana would be an optional boss with two phases. One would be a phase where you meet her in a temple, kind of where I've drawn her, and that temple has been built to hide away the heart of Te Fiti. Once you get her health bar to probably about half, she floods the room with ocean waters from outside the temple, and she gets more combat options with controlling the water that's around her. I figured Moana would have had this temple built to perfect Te Fiti's heart, after she was destroyed at the end of the world anyways. I guess, end of the world? Is that how Dark Souls would call it? I don't know. At the bad event, that's what I'm going with. The bad event that happened. She eventually accepted corruption in order to be sustained by the ocean, and it changed her. If the player beats her, they probably get something really good, but they also don't have to. After all, she is an optional boss. Anyways, that's Moana. I was thinking her boss name would be Moana, Guardian of Te Fiti's Heart, or something like that. If you have a better idea, I guess, let me know down below. This was a fun project to make, and could be fun to do more in the future. Perhaps I'll use like a random character generator instead of choosing the ones that I pick myself. But that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you made it this far, I would appreciate it if you considered subscribing and leaving a like. If you have a drawing challenge you would like me to do, let me know down in the comments below. See you next time. Bye!